Thank you for your patience, and we hope that you enjoy the event.
Thank you. Thank you, Crystal. Yay. It's happening. We're all coming in. I'm Lisbeth. We'll do a little more introduction a little bit later, but just as people are continuing to come in and get settled in your space, we want to extend a couple of invitations for you. So if you have easy access to a candle or incense or any object that like inspires you, that you like to have close to you, you can feel free to go ahead and grab that. You can also clear your space a little bit if you want to. We'll do some prompting and guided kind of grounding and meditation. So anything that helps you kind of focus is welcome to bring into your space or clear from your space. And if you'd like to, in the chat, you can share your name, your pronoun, where you're zooming from, the material under the feet, so what you're seeing underneath you, and what you are also noticing beyond the computer screen, just to help us all kind of get into the space.
Right, thank you, Liz. Yeah, so feel free to go grab the things that Liz just mentioned if you want. And we're just gonna start with a little bit of grounding. And throughout this workshop, feel free to leave your camera on or turn it off. We'll lead you through this grounding. We'll talk about some we'll give some intros about who we are and what this workshop is about. And then we'll lead you through kind of a guided writing exercise. So, and then we'll have a chance to share at the end. So if you want to keep your camera off for any of those portions, that's totally fine. So thanks. Looks like we have folks here from New Hampshire, Beverly, from California, Chicago, Rebecca from Salem, Boston. Looks like a lot of East Coasters with California, Chicago representing. So we'll do the intros in a second, but so go ahead if you have a candle or an incense or whatever grounding thing, if you have it, feel free to light it. And just take a moment to settle in. You can stand, sit, lie down. This writing workshop is really about being present and noticing. So whatever position you want to be in to kind of help you be as present as possible. And then we'll take 3 deep breaths together. I'll cue you on that. But as you do it, think about a place in your body where you feel like you hold your creative energy. So that might be your sacrum, your belly, your heart, the soles of your feet. But as you breathe into that space. So we'll take a deep inhale together and exhale. And again, an inhale and breathe out. And one more time, breathe in. And out. And take just a moment to call forward an intention that you have for this time we're sharing together. And you can say it out loud to yourself. You can write it in your notebook that you brought along, or you can post it in the chat. So what is an intention you have for this next 50 minutes that we're sharing together? Irene's intention is to have a peaceful spirit, or to call forth this peaceful spirit. Lisbeth is to keep wondering about wonder. My intention is to write a line. I have not been writing very much, so keeping it real. one line that I like. All right. Well, as you have intentions or introductions, feel free to keep dropping it in the chat. But I think now we will move on to intros. And Liz, do you want to go?
Sure. So I'm Lisbeth White. I am a writer and a ritualist. I'm in Port Townsend, Washington. I am sitting here, I have kind of short curly hair, and I'm sitting here in front of my my favorite trees. I'm in my office chair, and there's like some nice green out the window, which is like, I love these trees. I can't even tell you how much I love these trees. So that's where I am today. I'm the author of the poetry collection American Sycamore, which is out with Perugia Press. And I want to give a little shout out to Becky Olander, who's here, who's like an editor extraordinaire, who I adore. Thanks for being here. And also co-editor with Tomiko and Destiny Hemphill of Poetry As Spellcasting, which is what has brought us here today.
Great, yes. And I'm Tomiko Bayer. I am a mixed race Asian American woman with long dark hair, and my background is a kind of orangey yellow paint with flowered curtains in the background. So I'm zooming in from the land of the Massachusetts people, the Neponset tribe specifically. I'm in Dorchester, very near the Neponset River. And I'm the author of Last Days and We Come Elemental, which are both from Alice Jane's books. I'm a social justice communication strategy consultant. And yeah, I'm co-editor of Poetry As Spellcasting with Lisbeth and Destiny. This is the book. I don't know how you can see it, but it's coming out in the middle of next month. And this prompt that we'll lead you all through is one of the prompts that's in the book. So yeah, so I'll just talk a little bit about this book, and then we'll jump right into the prompt. But the subtitle, there's a very long subtitle that our publisher came up with, and it's Poems, Essays, and Prompts for Manifesting Liberation and Reclaiming Power. And it really captures very well what this book is. It's all the contributors are BIPOC writers, many are queer, and we really see it as a way to help readers explore and play and deepen their creativity and intuition as integral tools for self and communal healing and social change. So it brings kind of all of the things that we care about together in one book: magic and poetry and social change. And there are essays by all sorts of different kinds of writers, and prompts throughout the books and poems. So there'll be, if you're interested in checking it out, we'll have some links that you can follow at the end of this workshop. But yeah, I think now is the time to jump into the writing.
Great. So I want to start and kind of set the stage a little bit, but I do really like when workshops have a lot of generative space, so I'll try to like keep my meandering to a minimum. But we are leaning into and looking into and exploring enchantment. And in Poetry As Spellcasting, I was thinking a lot about enchantment and wonder and how that opens up into liberatory space and liberatory practice, right? And like I said, my intention was to keep wondering about wonder and enchantment. I was listening to Bayo Akomolafe not that long ago, and he mentioned, he had this line about definition as enacting closure, that sometimes defining something actually closes down or limits its possibility or what it is in the space. So we're gonna wander around wonder and enchantment for a moment. And I find the best way for me to wander is to actually get back in touch with my body and see what's happening there. So I want to invite you all to take a moment and just think about the word enchantment, and call it up into your space. And if it helps, you can close your eyes, but just what happens in your body, what happens in your attention, what happens to your mind when you think about the word enchantment, and that comes in. What do you notice? And again, you know, we're kind of a bigger group, so I want to encourage you to like use the chat liberally. But enchantment, what happens? What do you notice? You can write that in the chat. I know for me, when I think about enchantment, I actually get this visual of like this almost like southern savanna, like with the Spanish moss and stars and dragonfly and fireflies and this very mystical kind of setting. And I feel a little bit giddy. Soft and open, yes. That's definitely an experience I have with enchantment also. The way that enchantment, smiling, nice. Lightness. Oh, these are great. New Mexico, I also lived there, land of enchantment. Yes. Soft, open for sure. You know, part of poetry as spellcasting was born out of this. I mean, it was born out of a lot of writers who had social justice or working for social change, right? And it was again this this idea about transformative arts, right? So writing, any kind of creative fine art is a transformative art, but also fighting for social change and organizing for social change as those spaces as being spaces of transformative arts, and also magic as being a place of or a site of transformation. And so when we're thinking about that, and what are like what are the elements of a transformative space or something that helps transformation move? And for me, what came up was there seems to be this dance between like intention and surrender. So whenever we're entering a transformative space, and I'll use the example of poetry and writing in this case, there's like, you know, what we're looking for, what we're looking at, our attention, and where is it going. And then there's always this moment where we want to allow space for something beyond us to come in. So I'm sure there's a lot of poets in this room. You probably have the experience of writing, starting a piece, and then all of a sudden it like goes this way, or like some energy comes in and you're like swept along, right? And so what's our willingness to kind of surrender a little bit to the momentum of the energy of the space that we're in, or the creative thing that we've started, right? And again, this happens in organizing and social justice spaces too, right? Like once you get in a collective space with a bunch of people who are intending around a certain thing, and then there's like this energy that comes up. And this like allowing for space for something beyond us to come in actually allows for other ways of knowing to happen. It allows like imaginings beyond our current living to happen. So really, I'm thinking about enchantment as like a quality of attention, or as a context for witnessing the world, right? I think of it as a curiosity towards the wholeness of something rather than just that little slice of the thing that you put your first attention on, right? You enter with the little slice of the thing, and then how do you make space for even more to come through? So this prompt that we're going to do and share together is really about exploring like the subtle differences in the quality of attention, or the type of attention that we can hold around something out that we are interested in, and just to see what happens. I mean, this is all an experiment, like living. We're just going to see what happens. So Tamiko and I are gonna kind of guide you through some ways to anchor your attention, and then just let you go, let you go with that. And then Tamiko, I didn't put in the chat the link for our guide. So we did, if folks, thank you. So we have an Access document here. You can click on that link. We'll try to put some of the prompts in the chat, but also just so you have something, else to follow along with or make big if you need to. You can click on that link in the chat. But let's go ahead and get started. So you have hopefully your creative writing juju stuff around you. Go ahead and let yourself settle into your seat. Have your writing utensils nearby. But we're going to invite you first to just take a few minutes and like really land and gaze out at your surroundings. Right? So whatever it is you're seeing around you, and try not to take particular notice of any one thing, but just you can go ahead and let your senses and your attention wander. And you can spend a moment kind of imagining each sense that you have access to is kind of gently stretching or extending to what is around you. So what are the textures of the sights, the quality of the air, the sounds, the smells, the taste. And at any moment, sometimes when we slow down, when we put our attention on things and we open our senses, we might feel overwhelmed or flooded. So if that happens, you can just place a hand on your chest and just breathe there. Close your eyes if you need to, until you feel grounded again. But again, just really paying attention to sights, sounds, smells, letting those just kind of wash over you. And then as you're ready, just take a minute to just write down anything that comes to you. It can be a phrase, it can be a word, description of what you've captured, but just anything that shows up. Sometimes memories, right? Okay, and then maybe take a moment to just finish up that last word or phrase. And then take some breaths back into your body and get back into kind of a open, neutral space for a moment.
Okay, and now you'll do the same thing of kind of gazing at your surroundings and feeling into the space around you. But as you do so now, let your attention be drawn to one object or one area of your surroundings, and let yourself linger there. Let your attention linger there. And, you can get up and move around too, and stay within earshot of us. You can engage as much of your senses as feels comfortable. And as you let your attention be drawn to one thing, imagine all of your senses as kind of like a gentle light hovering just near where your attention is drawn. As you do so, try not to zero in, like I think we are so good at, like kind of having our blinder focus on one thing, but think of it more as like a wide angle lens where you're just kind of holding the focus as open as possible and kind of letting that object or area kind of seep into you as you are putting your attention towards it. And as you feel like you have let your senses settle onto this object or area and spent a little time with it, no need to rush, but once you feel like you've had some sort of exchange with this object or area, take a few minutes again to write down 2 or 3 phrases or words that come to you. Okay, and now again, bring your kind of attention and focus back into your body, settle back into your body. We'll go on to the next step.
Okay, so for this one, I'm actually going to encourage you to like put down your writing things for a moment. And again, settle back into yourself and close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. If not, just kind of, you can kind of hold a soft gaze or, you know, space out a little bit at like a spot on the carpet or in the mid distance. But allowing your attention to turn a little bit more inward now. And again, you know, start by just kind of noticing your breath and your body is a really great way to bring your attention in. And let yourself notice where your breath goes as you breathe into your body, where it travels there, without judgment, just noticing, helping you come into your inner world a little bit. And then as you're in this place, breathing into your body and in close connection with yourself, invite in a memory of tenderness and wonder. Keeping those kind of phrases or sensibilities close. It could be anything. It might be a beloved pet. It might be remembering a beautiful place you've been, an experience with somebody you love. It might actually just be a sensation in your body of tenderness and wonder, whatever, connect to that in whatever sense and whatever way makes sense to you. And allow your breath to just let you breathe into that sensibility. And let it fill up as much space in your body as it can. And again, allowing all of your senses to kind of come alive to this this sense, this sensation, this memory of tenderness, of wonder. What does it feel like? What does it sound like? Look like? Smell like? How does it taste? And then, I always want people to hang out in a yummy space as long as possible. So feel free to stay there. And then as you're ready, you can also take a moment to just jot down what arose for you in that. Again, it can just be words, a couple phrases. Okay, and then take one more moment to just breathe into that feeling again, complete that last thought or word. And then use that breath again just to come back to your now, present moment.
And as you come back to this present moment, come back to again where you are located in space and look around again at your surroundings while keeping this sense of wonder present in your body and in your attention. And you can notice kind of what's different as you hold this feeling of wonder. And if you need to take a moment to re-engage this feeling, you can go ahead and return to that sense memory for a few minutes before, again, taking in the scene around you. And then we're going to write now for about 6 minutes. And you can use this time to write whatever you want to. You can write about your experience, or you can start taking the material that you generated to start shaping a poem. So you might think about how it felt to bring an energy of tenderness and wonder to your attention. How like what you were witnessing responded to this energy. Anything at all about this experience or anything that came up for you as we went through this exercise. And I'll give you like a minute warning. So go ahead and start writing. We have 1 minute left in this writing time. Okay, so find a place to end your sentence and your writing for now. Of course, you can always come back to it, but find a place that feels good to end.
And as we're ending, actually here, I'd like to just take a minute as we close a practice to kind of just send some acknowledgement and gratitude for all the things that let us rest our attention on them, right? So take a moment with your surroundings again, and it's also grounding to do this, but they offered you some inspiration. So just in a moment, some little thanks and acknowledgement there. And then we would love to invite you all to share. You are welcome to drop some lines in the chat. I think all of us really also like hearing lines aloud and hearing people's voices. So if you do want to read a line or two out loud, you can raise your hand. Use the raise your hand feature, and we'll kind of work our way through. Or again, you can drop some things in the chat. All right, Oceana, see your hand.
I was surprised where I went with this. I guess it was because the enchantment, but here's the line. If I asked you to notice your boundaries, you might see that they've expanded with sound, smell, the lack of taste, and the new reverence.
Hmm. A new reverence stood out to me too. I can share a line. That wasn't my goal wasn't a line, but I think I got one. It lives here now, inside my nose, rosy and pungent, layered with tart tobacco, which makes me smile at least and adds the warmth of love back into my grief. And now it is a hearth.
It looks like Kate shared in the chat. After finding my sense of wonder, my second look around the room pulled me so much more to the window. Oh, that's really interesting. Very cool. And then Chandra, the glow of green fur across a New Mexico plain, followed by a day of rain, aroma of wet pinon oil, even while stepping in its fresh sap, one rainbow reflecting on another, the call of geese migrating through the color, the needled balance of force convex on sunlit drops. That's gorgeous. Megan shared a line that came up for me was, "This ripening is not for harvest. This softness is not for teeth." Beautiful. So many beautiful lines here.
Barb.
Yeah, what surprised me was linking the two things, looking out, and then doing the soft feeling in the body, and what that it brought up my dead cat. And so I wouldn't have linked the two together ever. So I started with the bottle bush. The bottle bush stands in dusking light with birds preparing for sleep and goats baying in the background. Cool temps are still arguing with spring, and a light breeze flutters flags, forecasts impending rain. Bottles, they're smooth, cool glass, sage green, burgundy, and cobalt blue, hold memories soft to the touch, like catcher's soft paw on my cheek at dawn. So you see the connection. I would have never put the bottle tree with anything that had to do with a cat, which was interesting.
Yeah, that's lovely. That soft paw.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barb. Monica has, the grass makes me feel tender. The night sky makes me feel wonder. Kathy says, sky window drips in fragments less than time. Monica writes, the dew. Lisa, an emptiness, a wholeness. I am starting to forget. Lovely. Oceana has another line. Pray let my skin die wholly into sacred grove, moving among tree-kin bark. I love the trees showing up here. And Katie has, maybe meditation cushions are there as a reminder, more than a mandate, that we are here in this moment, living like royalty among the dust bunnies. I love that. Love that gentle reminder.
Anne, I saw your hand up.
Thank you. Someone is dying. Who am I holding? The little one within me who wanted desperately to be touched, to be held, quietly, peacefully, sure she is loved.
Mm. Mm. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, these lines are so amazing. I could listen to poets all day.
Yeah, thank you everyone for sharing and participating and sharing your beautiful lines with us and what the process was like for you. I think we'll close out, Liz, unless do you think we should be doing anything differently? Okay.
No, but thank you. Again, it's just, hearing words and even just reading them and hearing them read out in the chat is just it's so evocative and fills up the space in a really nice way. So I hope you all get a chance to kind of bask in these yumminesses.
Yeah, I love how it's like a collective poem when we do it like this, both verbally and in the chat. So
yeah.
So yeah, I think the link for how to order Poetry as Spellcasting is in the chat, and if it's in pre-order right now. So if you order before May 16th and you submit your receipt, you can get a matching notebook, which is really cool. And so you can do these prompts in the notebook. So the link for that has MP just dropped it in the chat. And then if you want to stay in touch with us, our website and Instagram handles and that sort of thing is also in the chat. I have a Substack newsletter where I also send out a prompt once a month. So yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, Oceana, I see your hand.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, I know you guys are trying to leave. I do have a question that got raised as I was doing this practice that you both led so beautifully, because I know that the way that you guys you all edited the book was a group effort, and I'm just wondering if the way that you tended to the practice of editing was sort of like this. Like, did you have ways of working together that were sort of like, can we take a moment just to be embodied, or should we be lighting a candle here, or what practices that you all use to work together in editing this amazing book?
Yeah, thanks for that question, Oceana. Yeah, we sometimes did some rituals. Liz led us through a ritual at a specific point in the book development process, and we did do a lot of kind of writing and editing simultaneously in Google Docs. And one of the things that we noticed was that our meetings tended to fall on the full or new moon. So we often started our meetings talking about the astrology of the moment and what that meant for us. Liz, I don't know if you want to talk about,
Yeah, it was a kind of inadvertently witchy, which I don't know what that, we were all pretty oriented this way, so it seems to make sense for the process of the book. So yes, there was some rituals and things throughout, and I think one of the things, there was very much a parallel with this book around wanting it to be its own kind of living thing, right? So like setting this intention for like, we want to do poetry spellcasting, here's what we've put out in our invitation for the contributors, and then being really open to like, okay, well, let's see what direction it's going to move in. Like, what are the rhythms or the patterns that are going to start showing up with the essays that we get back, and what do we notice as we're editing, like what things are calling for our attention, or want to be moved here, or what needs to be rearranged, right? So there was this intention from the very beginning to let it become what it was going to become without like restricting it too much. So I think, yes, this practice showed up in some different forms, but was definitely there with the way that it came together. Yeah, that's a great question. And it let it be really fun, honestly. It let it be more of an adventure and a fun project to work on than, you know, like, oh, we've got to get through our deadlines and our checklists and all that stuff. So it brought some life to it throughout the whole process. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, thanks for asking. All right, I think we need to turn it back over to Crystal to close us out. But again, thank you so much for your presence and your words and your attention and energies.
Thank you so much. Can we please give a round of applause for Tamiko Bayer and Lisbeth White? Such an amazing workshop that you led us through.